Today's topic of discussion is reflection on the mind. Mind is the instrument which makes us aware of the whole world. But what about our mind? We need to reflect on our own mind, what it is, how does it work, how does it help, what part it plays in our life, how much it has a role in our personality. Let us have something to talk on this. First, what is mind? Mind, according to Vedanta, is a very important part of our personality. The gross physical body that we see, we consider that to be the personality, that to be the person I am or the person I see. But the Vedanta says that is very gross, external, that is not the deep. That what you see is fashioned by inner, finer, powerful force of personality. Beyond this physical form is finer, vital form. Beyond this vital form is still finer, mental form. And beyond this mental form is the blissful form. These all make our personality, but still those are the reflections of our personality. Our real person is that inner core whom is called Atman or Atma or the self, the real person, which all is enshrouded, covered by these coverings. So mind makes one important part of what we are. What makes the mind? What is the function of the mind? Mind has got, as we know, it has a volitional function, often in things. It has likes and dislikes. In a higher form, mind has a decisive faculty. It makes decision, it makes judgment, and also the feeling is seated in the mind, and the memories are stored in the mind. So Vedanta will describe the mind having 4 components. What it is? One is the mind which facilitates, wants to know, doesn't decide. I see a person, I can't find it out, whether it is John or Robert. It's John, it looks like Robert. That is the function of mind. It wants to know. Then I decide, no, it's Robert. Finally comes. Then it comes to decisive faculty, and we call it is the faculty of buddhi. First was manas, mind. Then comes buddhi, who makes decision. I should do this or not. So I'm always worried between these two, not able to decide. I decide to do this. Then comes the decision-making faculty of the mind is called the faculty of buddhi. So manas and buddhi. Then another thing of the mind is called chitta, where our all impressions, memories, all are stored. What we did in our childhood. When I was 5 years old, I was afraid to hear the story of ghosts. Once grandmother told me that I could not sleep, I could not go into the dark. Still at the age of 50 or 80 or 90, I remember what happened in 5 years. Where was that? Vedanta says that was in your mind. And the portion of the mind where all those memories are stored is called chitta. Manas, buddhi, chitta. Now who is this who says, I remember, I know, I want this? That being which said this I is called ahankar. My personality, my individuality, that is called ahankar. Manas, buddhi, chitta and ahankar, these 4 are the 4 components which make the mind as a whole. It's called mind stuff or mind. What we call mind in general is composed of these 4 things. It has memories, it has thinking power, it has deciding power, and it has egocentricity or individuality. That makes me individual man. Behind this all powers of mind, it says, Vedanta says, all powers of this mental core or physical core or the vital core is the power of the self, the pure consciousness, which gives sustenance, a living, acting power to these different cores of the body. So innermost core of our being is Atma, or the self, or the spirit. And it is covered, as it were, by these 5 sheaths. One of the sheath is actually 2 sheaths, one being Jnanamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. We can say these 2 as the mental sheath. Now, what is the difference between that Atma and this mind or other layers of our personality? These 5 cores and the Atma. What is the basic difference between that 2? What is Atma? Atma, to say, is spirit. It is immaterial. It is not composed of any element. It is not composed of anything. It is one without second. Atma is something which is present everywhere, which is present forever, which is always blissful. It is existence itself, which is always aware. That ever-existing awareness, bliss, is called Atma. What is mind? Mind is made up of elements. All other 5 cores of our personality are made up of materials. For example, we know our physical body is made up of materials. If you put it down, dissolve down to elements, it will come to measure its carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other elements. Vedanta will say, don't go for so many 102 elements, go for only 5 elements. And 5 elements, the whole universe is composed of 5 elements, they say. What are those elements? They say one element called earth element, the water element, the fire element, the air element, and the space element. And they say, whatever you see in the world is made up of these 5 elements. And these 5 elements are also in the state when you cannot see. When you see your body made up of and you can touch and perceive your body, it means gross 5 elements make this. If it is not gross, it is subtle, our senses cannot perceive that. It is beyond the perception of our eyes, or beyond the perception of our tongue, or beyond the perception of our nose. It is very subtle. It cannot be perceived through our sense organs. Our physical body is made up of 5 gross elements, and these very elements in their subtle form makes our mind. Mind, like the body, is material, but very fine, subtle material which cannot be seen or perceived. Gross body is made up of gross material, so it has a lifespan. It lasts for, say, whatever the life one man lives. 80, 90, 100, 110. Then it dies and decomposes. What about our subtle mind? Subtle mind has very long life. But it can die. It does not die by itself. It is so subtle that the process of death, which decomposes gross elements so easily into 5 elements or 110 elements, whatever you say according to science or according to Vedanta, it does after the time it dies, there is no life force in it, then it decomposes and goes back to recycling process to make the elements of other body. What body we have, what elements we have, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, or all the parts, those very molecules and atoms and those very chemicals were there in some other body in some other day. They recycle and they make our body today. This body dies and they will be recycled and become the part of some other human being, some other animal, some other plant. Like that it goes on. The whole universe is a recycling process. what about our subtle body? What about our mind? That mind is very durable. How long? How many years? 1,000? 5,000? 1 million? We don't know. Vedanta says it is very, like plastics we have, very difficult to decompose. Like that is our mind, doesn't decompose. Even our physical body we give up, this subtle body, subtle thing, this mind remains in subtle form and goes from this body and creates another body. It is so powerful, it creates this gross body. It is the mind and other components of the Jivatma or the soul which make this body. What sort of body I will have is determined by this Sukshma Sharira, this subtle body. One of the component of the subtle body is mind. Very important component. And so it is indestructible, yes, very difficult. It is nuisance, as the plastics and all this indestructible, not biodegradable, those things are nuisance for our environment. This subtle body, this mind is nuisance for us because it is indestructible, undecomposable. We want to free from this and make the environment clean. We want to keep ourselves clean. So we need to get rid of this mind. But cleaning this is very, very difficult. That whole our process of spiritual discipline, whole our process of understanding who I am, it can be destroyed. This mind, this subtle body can be destroyed with the process called knowledge. Only knowledge can destroy this body. And what sort of knowledge? Knowledge of who really I am. What is that being inside the fifth core? Blissful seed. What is there inside the blissful seed? If we could know that being, not only knowing intellectually, we could realize that, then all this mind will be dissolved and be recycled. It go to its finer elements. And what will happen if we could be free from this mind? What trouble this mind gives, we all know. How the mind studies and reads and perceives things in a wrong way, and how the doubts, the wrong perceptions it brings to us. No doubt it gives some joy. No doubt it gives. That is good. But why does it bring so many worries and anxieties? All these are brought by this indestructible thing called mind. And the problem with it is not only in this life. When I die, this body dies. But these qualities of this mind go with me in the next life. Again, I start a wonderful life, new body, but somehow those impressions start working as my body gross body goes. And those what desires were unfulfilled, what I wanted in this life, again they push. You wanted that thing in that life, you couldn't get, try in this life. Oh my gosh, never ending. That is our mind. Never, it doesn't leave us. It doesn't leave us. It does a lot of good, but much more bad it does. So what it will do, how should we use this mind? That is our thing. God has given us this mind, this intellect which is a part of mind itself, can be used to train the rest of the mind. When intellect becomes pure and powerful, then this intellect says to mind, don't desire that. That thing has no joy. Don't ask for this. Don't think this. Intellect finally will come to the level before acting. You wanted to act something which was not good. Then intellect says, don't do that, that's not good. Still powerful intellect will say, some thoughts came. If I could do that, it will say, what are you thinking? Don't think that. It all will happen when our intellect, which is a part of our mind stuff, becomes pure and powerful. Then we have control over whole mind, and then mind becomes like slave, as was in the reading, and then mind works according to I like. My mind or intellect has become purified, spiritualized in the word of our Vedanta. It has become spiritualized. All dross from the mind has gone. Mind is of different kinds. Because it is made up of three qualities. The whole universe is composed of three qualities or gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Tamas is this is the constituent of these five elements. Each of the five elements has these qualities. Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. Tamas is the heavier, darker, lazy, and weighing down. That quality is called tamas. Every element has that quality. And Rajas is active, aggressive, very prominent. That quality is called Rajas. Every element has that quality. Sattva is serene, peaceful, calm, balancing these two, tamas and rajas, but mastering over these two. Every element has that quality. As our mind is made up of five elements, having these three qualities, our mind also has these three qualities. Sometimes it is lazy and very lethargic, tired, mind is tired, cannot think well. That is called tamasic state of the mind. Sometimes it is very active, wants to achieve, lot of desires, wants to enjoy, and in that process often it suffers, wants to enjoy good things, wants to enjoy sweet, and sometimes it gets bitter things, sour things also. And the third quality of our mind is it is serene, calm, peaceful, compassionate, loving. These are all the qualities of sattva. So, these three qualities we find in our mind too. Our aim as a spiritual aspirant is to make our mind more stabilized in the sattva state. Whenever there is tamas or rajas, balancing them and becoming more stabilized in the waking state in sattva. Always calm, intelligently thinking, working with lot of insights, thoughts, and finally acting, not acting on the impulses. That is the quality of sattva. Now, what is the relation between the body and mind, this gross body and the mind? Swami Vivekananda writes very nicely that there is one personality of human being. This personality is, as it were, a tapering thing. Base is very broad, it tapers finally to become very fine. So this broad base, which is very gross and perceivable so easily big, is our gross body. It gradually tapers and becomes finer and finer, and finally mind, intellect, blissful state, and even that reality. That reality, which we call Atma, is the finest expression or finest study of that being which we call reality. The reality seen through our mind, thought through our mind, is called that Atma. Atma, how is the Atma? This mind cannot know, because mind is material. Atma is immaterial. How can material know the something glorious, immaterial thing? So whatever we can think of the Atma is the highest reading of the mind. Mind thinks Atma will be like this, it will be all-pervading, blissful, it will be loving, it will be all-aware. What we say about Brahman or Atma, that is the highest reading of the reality of our personality through this Atma. Now this body, this tapers, and this big gross body tapers into finer mind. The mind is very fine and subtle, body is gross. It is one thing, one personality, one human being. Like that Swami Vivekananda says, as in the case of individual human being, so in the case of cosmic being. This universe we see is the gross body of that cosmic personality. Very gross, and it gradually tapers and becomes finer and finer. So at its very finer level, we call it into the cosmic mind. And finally, at the finest level, we call it Ishvara or God. God is intimately connected with this gross universe. We see that finest God as this grossest universe. one being. That's how Advaita can be related to the God and the creation. If you don't want to feel this world as unreal, as a Maya, then another way we can unify. Swami Vivekananda beautifully does how this gross universe is connected with the God. The same being in the very subtle, fine state is God. This mind is very powerful. Very powerful. There is a thing called thought transference. I can think something and I can make it act through another mind in another person's body. This thought can be transferred and sent to work, act through another person. It is not telepathy that is done involuntarily. Something happened, I'm thinking something, another person, without my knowledge, he thinks the same thing. That is telepathy. Swami Vivekananda says, thought transference is willing, voluntary action, that I can send my thought to act from that mind. The mind can be so powerful, unbelievable. According to this principle, he says, you know how powerful the mind is? You meditate in a cave, dark cave, in a forest, thousands of miles away, and think some wonderful thoughts. Not able to express those. And you die there, as your karma finishes. Are your thoughts dead with the death of your body? He says, no. The thoughts will travel from the cave and go to thousands and thousands of miles, and perhaps that thought will act in the mind of a person staying in Canada, in USA, in Europe. The person was meditating in India or in Bangladesh. So that it happens. The power of the mind is so great because it is subtle. That is the principle of Swami Vivekananda. Power lies in subtlety, not in grossness. And he gives a wonderful example. He says, you see weight lifting. One person goes, strong body, and there is weight carried. 50 kg, 60 kg, 90 kg, like that weight is there. And that man with strong muscles lifts weight. But you see that his muscles swelling. How powerful muscles. We feel even 20 kg, 40 kg, 20 kg weight you have to carry in the airport. We feel pain, oh, so heavy. There was 30 kg when you used to carry from the casserole to down. It was so heavy. With both hands you couldn't carry. These muscle men can carry 50, 80, 90 kg. How powerful these muscles are. They swell and praise. Wonderful muscles. Swamiji says, muscles are the gross things. What is the real power of that man to lift that so great weight? It is the fine nerves behind those muscles. If those nerves do not work, he may have those very big swelling muscles. Can he lift the weight? The power lies in subtlety. The more subtle the thing becomes, more powerful it becomes. That's why when someone insults someone, even if you go and something happens, someone you get pushed on a way, then you don't feel, you get hurt, but you don't feel, okay, sorry, okay. But if someone knowingly pushes you, you feel bad. You feel so sorry, come home disturbed. Where were you hurt? The physical pain was the same when you were pushed automatically, involuntarily by others. This time it is pain is inflicted on your mind, which is more subtle. You find it difficult to forget and forgive because your mind was affected. The subtle thing was affected. When there is this subtlety, it's more powerful. Similarly, this is about giving pain, giving love, saying kind words. You smile someone and someone becomes happy. Yes, smiling face, good face. You smile and people are happy. The gross manifestation of that thing. You speak some words. You try to really feel for that person. Your thought waves will go and that person will feel, yes. It is the power of subtlety that becomes more important and more powerful than the grossness. We say that the mind with thoughts is the problem. All distracting thoughts come to our mind. And we can't keep the mind steady and controlled. What if all thoughts will die one day? And our mind becomes free from any thought. I want to be in that position for some time. How peaceful it will be. What disturbs mind is the thoughts alone. That man said me this, that man did me this, that woman looked at me like this. Only these thoughts in the mind give us trouble. Whatever all thoughts, good and bad, we could put a bit and keep for somewhere, sometime, and then we sit. But that is very difficult. Making mind free from all thoughts is very difficult. When mind is free from thoughts, mind is no mind. Mind has died, or it has become purified. Sri Ramakrishna's language, pure mind is pure Atman. When your mind has become so pure that it is bereft of any thought, any desire, then it has become one with our soul, one with our Atma. But that is difficult. But by practice, we want to go to that state when we come face to face, become one with that Atma. Every time in the scripture it says, realize the Atma, you gain everything by knowing which, what is there, by knowing which everything is known, by getting which everything is loved. What is that? It says it is Brahman, it is Atma, it is the reality. Gain it, find it, and you have found everything. Nothing more is there for you to find. All your aspirations, desires, all are fulfilled. You have reached the goal. But how to do this? It is very difficult. These minds, if they become pure, suppose there are thoughts, but pure thoughts, thoughts of love, thoughts of compassion, thoughts of genuine feeling for others, those minds become really powerful. And we find how the difference of minds are. Some minds influence us so much. Swami Vivekananda gives the example. One person comes, one scholar, and gives you a nice lecture. Wonderful words, very nicely composed, and gives you talk. But how much does he influence? How many people? What is real his influence on other persons? Another person comes, not very good grammar, doesn't speak good language, very stammering perhaps, and no personality, not well dressed, comes and speaks some words, and that changes our life. That becomes a part of our life. Oh, I went there, that person said this, and you change your life. Oh, your personality starts changing, your mental makeup starts changing. What that influence in that person? Why that person's words were so powerful compared to another person who spoke so beautiful English, so beautiful language? Swami Vivekananda says, it is not the language or the words important. It is the person who speaks, person's mind who speaks, person's feeling for you that who speaks is important. Human being is most important. What is the difference between these two human beings? The second one had very pure mind. The first one's mind was not pure, that pure. So one who had more purer mind, he had the greater influence on others. We influence others. Every one of us. Maybe some have very small influence within his family or 5%. Some have greater influence to thousands of persons. And there are greatest person who influence people all over the world. Not only that, they influenced a few people when they were living. After they died, influence is spreading and their words are being taken. Their message changes the life of a person hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. How powerful was their mind? That mind was the pure, and that mind had realized the truth. And what they felt 2,000 years ago, Rishi spoke 5,000 years ago in the Vedas and Upanishads, we need today to feel, yes, this is the truth. How those thoughts, which were thought 5,000 years ago, become so potent and so powerful today. Person is dead, but those mind, the fraction of the mind that comes through their words, that affects our. So that is the powerfulness of the mind. Mind, it becomes pure, becomes very powerful. Mind is the reflector of our personality. In Gita it is said that we are not able to have the knowledge of ourselves because it is covered. It is like a mirror covered with the dust. Yatha darsho malenacha. Now if the mirror is covered with the dust, or mirror itself is distorted, what type of reflection you will have on the mirror. The reflection will be unclear, hazy and distorted. That happens with us. As our mirror of our mind is unclean and of uneven surface, distorted, so our reflections are all distorted. We see the world in the wrong way, we misjudge another person, we think in the wrong way, and we are not able to find that peace because we are away from the reality. We want to see that, but it is covered. Yatha darsho malenacha. Adarsha, the mirror, is covered by mala, dirt. That way you can't have knowledge. So the thing is to clean the mirror. Then we'll have the right reflection on our mind. Then the Gita in chapter 3, verse 39 says, Abritam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kaunteya duspurena nalena cha. You see, this knowledge of the self is covered even for the knowers of knowledge, who seek knowledge. What covers our mind? What makes it distorted? What makes it uneven surface? What makes the dirt in the mind? It says, Kama Rupena. O Kaunteya, O son of Kaunti, it is the dirt, the deformation of the reflector of your mind is desire. You have innumerable desires. And what sort of desire? Unrestrained sensual desire. That is the cause of distortion of your mind and not having the right reflection, not having the knowledge of truth, not able to subside the evil thoughts of desires. And what is that? And he says, Kaunteya duspurena. Whatever. If you have desire, you want to gain something, go and buy. Finish. You should be free from desire. I had a desire to buy a nice chair for my room. You go and buy. How much it costs? $50, $65, go and buy. Desire finished and you are at peace and happy and now your mirror is clean. Doesn't clean. Another dirt falls on the mirror. Oh, every time this dirt falls. Moment you clean, that moment you feel very happy. As soon as you got the chair you bought, you have the money, God, this is my chair. Oh, that is the final thing. You had wanted to buy the chair. You are not getting something. But as soon as you got that chair, wonderful, now I have it. This is my chair. But before you come out from the store, this table looks to be good. I should have that. Came another dirt. So, Sri Krishna says, Duspurena. Purana is completing, fulfilling. This is very difficult, it is very hardly, it is fulfilled. One desire is fulfilled, the desires are not fulfilled. One after another, they go on, coming nowhere knows. From where no one knows. Duspurena. It is very difficult to calm down, clean our mind from all desires. Duspurena. And he gives the example. Analena cha. Like fire. You know, Arjuna, it is like fire. So what fire has to do with the dirt? This is regarding satisfying your desires. It is like fire. Fire is burning and you want to... What it wants, fire loves, as we love food and cat loves rat, fire loves butter, clarified butter, ghee, havi. So fire loves ghee, put fire, put ghee and it becomes very happy and becomes more bright. Then is it satisfied? You pour a little fire, it should be satisfied and want no more ghee. Then you see ghee, you give ghee, it still wants ghee. The more you pour ghee, it becomes more desirous of ghee. It wants to burn more. Like that is our desire. Fulfill one desire, another desire comes. In fact, it happened. There was one Yayati, a mythological story in Vedanta. Yayati was a king. He enjoyed the world very much. Pleasure, happy, and this worldliness. Whole life he enjoyed. Gradually he found himself becoming old. Now senses is becoming old. He cannot enjoy the world. Then he said, oh my gosh, all this gone, this joy of life gone. What will happen? He was so mean-minded, he had few sons. He said to his son, my son, you are very young. Can you give your youthfulness to me and take my old age? How can one ask to his son like that? But this was so worldly person. so sensuous person that he didn't want to fulfill his desires were not fulfilled, though he enjoyed the whole for his whole life. And he goes and begs his son, can you give me your youth? I want to still enjoy the world. Few sons refused. One of them was very devoted to his father. Father, I am your son. My body is your gift. I will surely give my youth to you. Some rituals were done, and he gave his youth to Yayati, this king. The son became old, will die soon. This king became young. Again he started enjoying the pleasantries of the world. Whole life span again doubled, from 100 years to 200 years. Again he enjoyed as he enjoyed first life. Then again he became old. Now this time wisdom dawned unto him. He said, what is this? My desires are yet not fulfilled. I still feel like enjoying the world still more. I got double life. My son became old and he died prematurely because of me. What is this? And he says a beautiful verse. Na jatu kama kamanam ubhogena samyati. You see, I have understood from my own experience, O human beings, these desires are never fulfilled by fulfilling it. Na jatu kama kamanam. These kama desires are never fulfilled. Upubhogena, by enjoyment, by enjoying. How is it like? He gave the example of fire. As one, if fulfilling the desires and wanting to become free from desires is like dousing a fire with butter. There is a fire burning, you want to douse it. How much you want? Take this. More, take this. I want to douse you. Give you so much butter, that will be satisfied, you will be doused. That will never happen. Havisha Krishna Vartameva Uya Eva Vivardate. Not only it will not quench the thirst by having butter, its thirst will increase more. So, be aware of your desires. Use your intellect. That is, if purified intellect will say, it is nothing, there is not much joy in this chair, you want so much. The chair you have at home, that is beautiful. You need to sit, you can sit there, in that chair also looks nice. Nobody is going to say and come and appreciate your chair, it's so nice chair you have brought, I have not seen anywhere. This type of chair are found in shops and anyone can buy with that much of money. Why you are after that chair? So whatever you have, be happy with that. Don't have desire. Intellect will say that, and our desire will be doused down. And then we'll be happy. This desiring thing is, Swami Ranganathananji wrote that this about desire, as Ayati said, that there are desires which will not be fulfilled. After the Second World War, the United States had Hoover Commission, one commission they had set up. And they wrote in a very, like Ayati's language, but Swamiji says in a different context. It has no relevance with Ayati's feeling. The desires are to be lessened or doused. But the committee report says, this study has revealed that human desires are endless. After Second World War, American committee saying, there are no desires which will not give way to newer desires as soon as they are fulfilled. Like he said, perhaps they eulogize the desires, maybe, I don't know what they showed rightly, but Swami said, not in the context that Ayati had said, but this was the statement of the Hoover Commission set up after the Second World War in the United States. Organic satisfaction is not the goal of evolution, how we evolved. And evolution in pre-human phase has three aspirations. What are those? Organic survival, organic satisfaction, and numerical increase. Those are the three goals of evolution. And it is emphasized on that. But at the human level, these aspirations are secondary. The primary aspiration of human evolution at the human level is fulfillment. We want fulfillment, satisfaction. How does this come? Organic evolution gave us this brain, where our mind works. Wonderful organ that has been created by the process of evolution. Very intelligent, the cerebral cortex. No other being has in this universe. And With the evolution of this animal cerebral cortex, we need not have any organic evolution. We want to fly like the bird. We need not grow wings. What we do, with the help of our brain, we make aeroplanes and fly, no doubt. But there is no need of this desire. Doesn't make us grow small wings in one generation, next generation wing grows like bigger. It doesn't happen that way. So, but we make the planes, aeroplanes. So, the emphasis of evolution on human level is fulfillment, and that fulfillment will come from the use of our intellect in seeing the futility of desiring sensual objects of the world, insignificant objects of the world. And how will we do that? We can do it through Vedanta. Vedanta is a science of human possibilities. Science of human possibilities is a word coined by biologists. And Swami Ranganathan, if you read his works, you will write often, science, Vedanta is a science of human possibilities. He didn't say about a Vedanta, he says human being has tremendous possibilities. And the science should be the science of human possibilities. The physical science, the natural science give way to the science of human possibilities. And where we will find what possibility a human being has. Human being has possibility to control his own mind, to purify his own mind, to achieve fulfillment by control of his own mind. Now, this mind is our mirror, but how to know what type of mind we have? Our mind is revealed through the work we do. Swami Tyagananda in one of his lectures says, you can understand your mind by the way how you keep your room, how you keep your house. Is it intact, clean? How your garage is maintained? Have you dumped everything there? It all reflects your mind. What quality of work you do, the quality of work you perform in your office, that reflects your mind. What is the attitude of when you work? What is your attitude? Do you work only for passing your 7 or 8 hours and running home? Or you want to achieve something, to give something to the company, something to the humanity, something to the society through your work? What is the attitude of your work? How efficient you are in the work? All these are the tests of our mind. How our mind is. Is it pure? Is it controlled? What are our interests, hobbies? Which are the people we want to see? Who are our friends? Who is our role model? What sorts of book we want to read? What sort of magazine we read? What sorts of TV program we like? These all reflect our mind. The purer the mind, our taste change, our hero change in our life. In young age, bodybuilder becomes hero. You grow older, a hockey player becomes hero. I want to play hockey like that. You grow older, then that person had so much of sacrifice. Abraham Lincoln becomes our hero. With so much of sacrifice, so much of love for the country. Grow still older and mature more, then Jesus becomes your hero. Sri Ramakrishna becomes your hero. Swami Vivekananda becomes hero. I want to know the truth. I want to love everyone. I want to become purified. I want to know who I am. So role model. Who is your role model? What you want to study more? That all is the reflection of your mind on your work. What kind of friends we have. And when we talk with them, what we talk. What type of persons we avoid. And how do we deal with the problems and challenges of the life? When the crisis comes in life, how do we search its solution in the world? Or do we have any spiritual solution for that? If crisis comes, do I run to the police more often, or to a counselor, or do I run to the temple, to the shrine, to pray to God? Lord, this is the problem. I feel that person not treating well. I feel my son not going on the right way. So where do I search the solution to the problem? Is it in my own soul, or in God, or somewhere external in the world? That all is the reflection of our mind. What is the condition of our mind is. And we need to reflect like that in our mind. How it is dealing now? Is it becoming purer more and more? Is it getting more attracted towards God? Is it finding the things of the world less tastier? What I had 5 years ago, I wanted to have that thing to be done for me. Am I now can say, oh, that is done, I don't need that? Am I becoming more drawn to spirituality than to material things? So this type of reflection, if we have on our mind, then we can train the mind. And Swami Ranganathan, he said, Swami Vivekananda's aspiration was, you should always train your mind. Don't let any opportunity to train your mind go. You can train your mind in school. You can train your mind while you work. You can train your mind when you come to the temples and churches. Every moment is the training your mind, making better, purer and more powerful. That is, by that way we will finally gain the knowledge of our own spirit, our own self, which is nothing but bliss and supreme